somewhat disappointed with the amount of work you have put into place. I tell you, I made hundreds of thousands of dollars just taking this class, just listening to the 14, 15 people. But it did a lot of work. I'm telling you, you can make a lot of money if you're really into this. Not only just listen, but do it. I mean, don't you guys, how much you spend, coming to school here? How much you spend? What is the tuition, the board, and all of that stuff? What is it now? What? 70 altogether? Well, you need at least to make that up. I mean, you should at least make $70,000 back, right? You also have 2 years, you're not making anything. You got to make that up. How do you make that up? This is a terrific way to do it. And so that's sort of kind of my last point I want to make is the only reason I've come back and really, so I don't really talk about our holdings anymore. This is actually, we don't hold any of those two stocks anymore. The only way I do that is because, when I came here, prior to business school and doing the business school, huge, just by listening and actually do it. That's the difference. And then back then, that was more than, 10, 15 years ago. I made, roughly hundreds of thousands. In one stock is more than 100,000. Back then, I think our cost was also a little bit lower than the 70. I can't remember what it was, but it was lower. But that's who you're into this class for. This class is different from any other classes because there's no bullshit theory. All everybody's telling you is what works. It's what works. Well, ask them. They should. Well, maybe they shouldn't, but I did. Okay, so that's you guys have a terrific opportunity. Will be able to fit all the points that got into Bruce's class. And if you don't really use this thing, shame on you. You got to do it. I mean, those are things really. There's so much gold in it. That little pages, those little books, those value lines, all of them. You got to use it. You got to do it. I mean, you're young. You have energy. What to lose? There's nothing to lose. Yes. Yes, go ahead. What? Well, the most, okay, so if you're analysts, okay, I always tell my analysts, I only need two things from you. And if you want to be analysts, you need to be analysts, of course, but most people failed on both scores big time. And you just have to go to that extra level in order to get it done. If you can't succeed on that one, you can't succeed in this business. Because most of the time, you're going to stand alone, basically against just about everybody else. And if you're not really confident about what you know, and you're confident about your prediction, what other people know or don't know, you can't possibly be putting that kind of a money when the thing's going into a free fall. When it looks like you're really losing all your money. When everybody else is laughing at you. All the smart guys. So you must be able to first do accurate and complete. And the second thing, in this business, okay, most of the money are not made on those stocks that we're just talking about. Your biggest amount of money you're going to ever make is not from that. Those are things that really get your bread and get your basic business going, give you the basic return. They do not provide you outsized return. Even if those stocks went up 5-6 times, they do not give you the outsized returns. If you're a value investor in the truest sense, okay, so there are two schools. I mean, you can do the Tweedy Browns, you can do the Langrams, or you can do the Buffett and Munger type, which is more of kind of what I'm interested in. If you want to be that one, your return is going to come from a handful, no more than number on the two hands in your entire life of maybe 50 years of tremendous insight. Tremendous insight you're going to gain that no other people have.
They were going to get ice cream.
How do you really build that insight?
I'm a great football.
There's no other recall we ever made a mistake, actually, on the big bets. Now, my biggest mistake, actually, is not making a couple bets. The biggest mistake I made is that during the course of my career, that, you know, I had a spectacular return, but I couldn't raise any money. Because every time I go out to talk to people, people basically say, what the hell you're talking about? I want a monthly, I want a 2 weekly, I want a weekly return. I want you to go up in a down market. I mean, that's what I wanted. I want you to be a bank, except you yield better. Well, and you're a hedge fund, aren't you? So anyway, but that's, you know, I couldn't really, but in the end, I sort of, there was a couple years, not, I said, okay, I'll do some of those commissional stuff. I'll move into Julian Robinson's. You learn from the best practice of other hedge fund managers, and somebody else kind of work on the shorting, all of that.